Welcome to Tanya and I's coaching cycle for the Library and Future Lab at Abcake School. Although I've been teaching for quite a few years, it has mainly been in the classroom. And so when I became the librarian and a Future Lab teacher, I used my classroom focus to think of how I could connect these special programs more closely with what's happening in the classroom, with the core curriculum. And so for the last few years on working on bringing classroom connections from math, etc., into the library or the Future Lab program in ways that supplement and augment, maybe facilitate the the work that's going on in the classrooms, accessing the prior knowledge. One of the things that was difficult for me was that I had to fight past the maybe preconception that a specials teacher is not necessarily an active member of the teaching staff in the same way that a classroom teacher is. I have been working with all of the curriculum, the Atlas goals, etc., for the kids for a long time, but it's very difficult to explain that to the teachers in a way that the teachers can understand that I am actually there to be an asset to help them with my program, to fill some gaps, to augment the material. So I asked Tawny if she could help me with this, with giving me some sort of authority or legitimizing my library program, the Future Lab program, in a way that the teachers would understand that I'm in partnership with them with my goals as opposed to separate from them. After Tani helped me set my goal, which was pretty hard actually, she did a lot of work there. One of the first things I asked her to do was gather up all the curriculum materials from Atlas, rubrics, etc., from a 6-week time period in first grade. I wanted to see the whole picture, both from the lens as a librarian and a Future Lab teacher, to see what I could do with literacy and science and math and phonics, etc., that I could tie into one big picture. One of the beautiful things that Tani did for me was so clearly and uh, carefully organize this thinking into these visuals, like the library and future lab connection plans, where I have my big ideas about each of the things like reading, and what I could took out of that unit, how I could collaborate with it in the library, and how I could collaborate in future lab with these reading units that are happening in the classroom, and so on down, all the way to writing, math, phonics, etc. The really interesting thing was that some big overarching ideas did come out based on it. This is a really interesting chart for me to look back on. One of the most helpful things that Tani was able to do was to help me understand how to word emails or request with other teachers with some authority so that I had some agency when I was dealing with these things. And the teachers got it. They gave me the space and time to explain what I was talking about. And I was so excited to finally be collaborating with them instead of sort of being on the outskirts. In the end, I was able to come up with a big idea that uh, allowed for literacy explorations in the library time and making explorations during future lab time that supported many of the aspects of curriculum happening in the classroom. Um, we decided because the classroom curriculum at that time was focused on information reading and writing and air, wind, and weather in science and systems in math, I decided that we could make a windmill a la William Kim Kwamba, and we could explore different aspects in the library and the future lab of that. We read The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind in the library, and in the Maker Lab, in the Future Lab, we made fans. We explored and tinkered with fans to see who could have a fan that would make the most force. The designs themselves were hilarious.
Look over here.
In the next library session, we worked on the phonics that they were working on in the classroom, using the lens of these books about wind and windmills and keywords and vocabulary.
Yeah. Okay. So this tricky Y is going to turn into an I, okay? Are you okay?
Gathering up all of the prior knowledge, the nonfiction read alouds, the phonics work, the work at looking at nonfiction texts and exploring force, etc. In the future lab, we were finally ready to explore whether or not we as humans could control the wind and whether or not we could record our controlling or make the world a better place with it and work with it.
Can you guys all look at me? The first thing I want you to do is tell me what you guess this feather's gonna do if I drop it.
It's gonna glide.
It'll glide? You think it'll glide? Let's see. You think it'll turn around?
Yes.
Do you think it'll go across the library?
No.
I think it will. I think it will. Let's see.
Let's see.
Oh man, it did. It swirled and glided, but it didn't go across the library.
Yeah, no.
Wait, maybe I should throw it. What do you think will happen if I throw it?
It will float still.
It will still, but what do you think? I'm very strong. Do you think it'll go across the library?
No. Yes.
Okay, so let's feel the air in here. What does the air feel like in here?
Nothing.
Nothing. It feels like nothing. The feather agrees. Let's go outside.
Yay!
Don't do anything until I tell you, okay?
Okay.
Don't do anything until I tell you. Don't do anything until I tell you, okay? Alright. Come over here. Okay, guys. Oh my goodness! What does the air feel like out here? Huh? And what is the air?
Crossing the feather.
Oh, pay attention, sweetie pie. What is the air doing out here? Well, right now it feels very still. Oh, no, it's not still anymore. It's pushing. It's pushing? Whoa, I just feel pushing right now. Do you guys feel that? Yeah. What is it doing to my hair? Make it fly? Okay, well guys, now I know that if I just drop this right now, it'll just go right to the ground, right?
No.
But it did that inside.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm going to drop another one. Whoa! Guys, what's the difference between inside and outside? What's the difference?
The inside is no wind and outside is wind.
Okay, let's say the word wind.
Yeah.
You guys all say the word wind.
Yeah.
Say it.
Wind.
Let's show me the wind.
Each library session was focused on the literacy aspects, and each maker session was focused on the making of the main project that were relying on the literacy aspects. These are some of the prototype blades that they made for the windmill. And we had to test them out to see which one would work the best.
Oh, it moved it a little bit. Try the other end. Whoa, that's a lot more force on that end, huh? Okay.
And when we found the winning blade design, we worked on how to do laser printing and duplicating the blades so that we could have enough to make our windmill fan.
That's so cool. I can see the tiny little laser. It's like white.
Isn't it No, that's not the laser. That's actually the little tiny fire.
That's fire?
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're ready for the second group. So, hey, that just finished right now. So we talked about scale, and we talked about how we could attach it to the rotor and the inverter. And we started to learn how to screw things in and drill. All right, you guys are doing it. Okay, make sure. What are we never touching? Okay. Now, guys, here's my big thing. Please do not go through my table. Keep it up and down. Keep it up and down straight.
Wait, can this go through the table?
What do you guys think?
Yeah. I was thinking about that.
Yeah, do you guys think you could eventually get through the table?
Yes.
Do you think I'd be happy?
No.
Okay. It's stuck? Okay. We learned how to screws in and the difference between Phillips head and standard screwdrivers. And then we asked the class.
To measure the effectiveness of this, we actually did an anchor chart about what connections the kids made between the classroom stuff and what was happening in the future lab in the library. And it turned out great. I can't wait to show you guys the final design.
This was a project that I feel really passionate about. I really love the idea of a synergistic relationship with the classroom teachers and what we're doing in Future Lab or any of the specials. And I think that I would love to continue going forward and making this model more and more sustainable and efficient, but also bringing some of the prior knowledge from the kids into what we're doing every day, the amazing work that we're doing every day in the Future Lab.